If you like to make your NFL games a little bit more interesting, you've come to the right place. It's the Even Money Podcast with Ross Tucker and Steve Fezzik.
Yeah, Vegas, baby, Vegas. It is the Even Money Podcast. We are, of course, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, 5 teams, 7 years. Most of you know that. Do games every weekend, either television for CBS Sports or radio for Westwood One nationally. Next up for me will be Christmas Day. It'll be the Giants at the Eagles for Westwood One nationally. So if you're driving around, driving to your aunt's house or your mom's or your grandma's, tune in, find me on the dial. Love being able to have more and more of you guys listen to what I'm doing. Obviously, love the podcast game. Got a bunch of them. Ross Tucker Football Podcast is 25 minutes or less. Everything you need to know going on in the NFL every day, Monday through Friday. College Draft with Emery Hunt. We bet every bowl game this week. So if you didn't already, listen or watch the College Draft Podcast, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. Emery made his picks against the spread or the totals for every bowl game this week, which is always fun. And then, of course, the Fantasy Feast podcast as well. This is our most popular show because we've got Steve Fezzik at Fezzik Sports and only at Fezzik Sports on social media. Steve, give me the Circa Millions update before we dive into the bloodbath that was Week 15.
Circa Millions, I currently stand 50 wins, 22 losses, 3 ties, top 5, 3 weeks to go. It is exciting.
Very exciting. What does top 5 get you?
Like 5th would get me like $250,000.
And how much is the entry fee again?
$1,000.
Wow. You got to keep it going. Steve, we had a bad week. There's no way around it. I was down 10 units. You were down 9 units. So for the year, I finally got back up double digits last week. Lost it all. I am dead even. I've put out 319 units. I've gotten back 319 units. So obviously, with the VIG, I'd be down for the year. You are still up 21 units, 10% or 56% strike rate so far for the year for you, Steve. Chargers, Raiders. I leaned Chargers. Good thing that was all it was. You leaned under. The total was 33.5. The Raiders scored 63 points. We'll just move on. Vikings, Bengals. I leaned Vikings. They were getting 3.5. They ended up losing by a field goal in overtime. That was a fantastic game. That was the game I called. I did try Skyline Chili again, Steve. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Like I wouldn't go there and get it again. But
yeah,
I
to
felt
be
like
fair,
I needed to try it
the
again.
Skyline Chili it's not the worst food ever. It's just when that's your geographical go-to food in Cincinnati, it's time to like find a new food to tout your city with.
You know what they should do? Grater's ice cream. Grater's ice cream is legit. That might be my favorite ice cream in the country. That was awesome.
I don't disagree at all.
All right. We'll keep it moving. No buys this week. Steelers, Colts. Steelers were a teaser leg for me, not for you. I can't believe that. I mean, they were up 13-0. They were getting 8.5. They give up 30 unanswered points. All my buddies here in PA want Tomlin fired, Steve, and they mean it this time. They're done with him. I lost that teaser leg, and the Cowboys got obliterated. So I had 3 teaser legs. The Texans came through for me, actually won outright. Cowboys and Steelers both couldn't cover 8 or 8.5. So I lost 6 units on teasers this week. Brutal. Lions and Broncos. I had the Broncos getting 5 points. Felt pretty good about it. They get hammered 42-17. You had the Lions for 1 unit. Good for you, Steve. We went head-to-head there. Never seen an NFL team score touchdowns on 3 straight plays and get shafted like the Broncos did. Never seen it before. 3 plays they scored touchdowns, Steve, and they didn't call them touchdowns.
Well, you could give them touchdowns on 2 of the 3 and it still wouldn't matter. So I think I'd save those bad beats for the close games and reverse them. Yes.
Chiefs, Patriots. You put a unit on the Patriots getting 9.5. Of course, they lost by 10. We did have a best bet on the Bears getting 3.5 against Joe Flacco and the Browns. Boy, the Bears choked that one at the end, but they covered the 3.5. They lost by a field goal. We will take it. So that was a best bet that came through for us. Falcons, Panthers. I leaned Falcons. Thank goodness that's all it was. Jets, Dolphins. I took the 9 with the Jets. They lost 30-0. Thankfully, that was only 1 unit. Then we get to Giants, Saints. I took the Giants getting 4.5. Thought they had the momentum. Keep it going. Keep it close. They lose 24-6. You put 2 units, Steve, on the over. 2 point in that game. It only got to 30. 24-6. The total was 37.
Yeah, and every time Tommy DeVito got sacked in the Saints defensive line, were that's Amore or whatever they were doing. So clever. Clearly, the Saints were the right side. Yes.
Bucks, Packers. I put 2 units on the Bucks. They came through. They won the game outright in Green Bay. Baker and the boys. You leaned Green Bay. Texans, Titans. Already referenced. I had the Texans as a teaser leg. Should mention that you had 2 teasers, Steve. They both involved the dastardly Dallas Cowboys, who were not able to get it done. What about the Niners, Cardinals? We had a best bet. You put 3 units, Steve. 3 on the Cardinals getting 14 points. I put 2 units on it. It was 14-13. I was feeling good about it. They lose by 16. 45-29. The Kyler pick 6 killed us, Steve. Killed us.
Yeah, Arizona got over 400 yards of offense, and of course they got outplayed completely in the game, but it's a bet I'd make again. I mean, the closing number's 11. I'm catching 14, and the stats are not that disparate, but a pick 6 is going to kill you every time, and it did here.
Totally. They ran the ball really well, actually. Commanders, Rams. The total was 49. Steve, we talk about best of the number a lot. Total was 49. I didn't realize this. So when Ron Rivera didn't go for 2, and not only didn't go for 2, he kicked the extra point and it got blocked. That stopped you from getting a push. And if he went for 2 and got it, you would have gotten the win, Steve. Ron Rivera doesn't know math.
And I have to chime in. Everyone blames the owner when the memo's out. The sharp 5th graders out there know. My son's like, Daddy, they got to go for 2 here, right? They win 62.5% instead of 50% if the games pick them going for 2. And I'm like, it's an easy decision tree. Everyone in the NFL seemingly knows this, except for the Washington football team. And people blame Rivera, the analytics guys. It's not the coach's fault. It's the owner's fault. A sharp owner is going to just meet with the coach and say, look, you got 100 things to do. We got an analytics guy for you, and he's going to be in your ear, and he's going to say, it's a close call. You can do either one. Or he's going to say, call timeout, and I'll explain why later. Go for 2. I'll explain why later, and you just do what that guy does, or you don't have a job next week. Why teams like Washington don't have that? You tell me, Ross. It's just like, is it just the culture of the coach gets to decide everything, and that's just the way it is?
Pretty much, yeah. Ron Rivera is the sole decision maker right now for the Commanders, and they're letting him have that. I mean, he's as good as gone as soon as the season's over. He knows it. Everybody knows it, which is always an awkward situation. How about Cowboys, Bills? Already referenced. We each had the Cowboys in 2 teasers. They let us down in a major way. What a no-show by them. Jags, Ravens. That was killer. I had the Jags at home getting 3.5, 2 units, 4 times. 4 times. They're deep in Ravens territory. 2 missed field goals. Lawrence fumbles without being touched. And then Lawrence at the end throws a 1-yard out route when he needs to spike the ball or throw it in the end zone. They get no points. Killed me. Killed me, Jags. Seahawks, came through for me last night. I had the Seahawks getting 3.5. They won the game outright, only 1 unit. I mentioned it. I was down 10. You were down 9. Betting is hard. We were 1-2 on our best bets. We are 26, 25, and 1 on our best bets this year. For the year, you're up 21 units. I am dead even, which is hard to do. We move onward and upward, Steve, after I make sure everyone knows that if you haven't gotten a gift yet for somebody that you love, the best way to get it is the Game Time app. I'm telling you, browse through the Game Time app and see what concerts they have, what comedians are in the area, what upcoming events. Just get tickets to anything. That's like one of the best gifts you can give somebody because you're locking in quality time with them. They have something to look forward to. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. You can actually see the vantage point from your seat. It's amazing. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code MONEY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. So again, create an account and redeem code MONEY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Steve, it is week 16 in the NFL. It starts Thursday night. The Saints are at the Rams. The Saints are getting 4 points total, 44.5.
So my power ratings say Saints, but my gut says Rams, so I'll pass. Saints back-to-back blowout wins. Their offense got under 300 yards in both those games against bad opponents. I think the Saints are completely phony. The Rams are kind of a sneaky contender, actually. I'll lean Rams.
I'm going to go with the Saints. I think it's a field goal game either way. I'll put 2 units on New Orleans and regret it 1 week from today. The Bengals-Steelers Saturday game. Right now, the Steelers are getting 2 points at home, Steve. The total is a low 37.5. And I can't even do it. Normally, I would tease the Steelers up to +8. I can't even do it.
Yeah, 2 units, Bengals. My power ratings actually make the Bengals a little over a 3-point favorite here. So no problem at all laying 2 with Cincy, 2 units.
I'm going with you on that. I'm impressed by what I've seen from the Bengals. The Steelers are in a bad way right now. And I've given up on the Steelers always bounce back from this thing. That hasn't happened the last 2 weeks. They haven't bounced back for crap. So I'm not doing it. Best bet, 2 units.
The best bet.
All right. Bills-Chargers. Saturday night. Bills are laying 10.5 against the Chargers, who just fired their coaches, Steve, and they got a guy named Giff as their head coach.
Yeah, I rarely do this, but I'm giving out a best bet on this game that I'm virtually certain that Ross Tucker will copy. In fact, I will buy everybody drinks in Vegas if he doesn't. Not to put pressure on you, Ross. I've never played one of these before. It's called a 10-point sweetheart teaser. You need all 3 teams to win. And here are my 3 teams. The Buffalo Bills, I'm going to tease down from -10.5 to -0.5. The Philadelphia Eagles on Christmas Day from -11.5 down to -1.5. And the Kansas City Chiefs down from -10 against the hapless Raiders to pick 'em. Buffalo, Philly, KC, basically all 3 just have to win in a sweetheart 10-point teaser. 2 units.
What is the what's the vig on that typically?
Anywhere from -120 to -130. I haven't checked the DraftKings site for what their payout is.
All right, I'm in. I'm doing it. I never even heard of it, and I'm doing it. All right, let me make sure I write this down. PHL is down to -0.5 point. The Chiefs pick 'em, and the Bills -0.5 point.
Yes.
Okay, I'm with you. 3-team teaser, 2 units, another best bet. I like it. I like it, Steve. Never even knew you could do that. All right, What about the Lions laying 3 points on the road in Minnesota? Totals 47.
I'll lean to the Vikings here. Detroit home road dichotomy, but it isn't a dome. That'll help Detroit. But Vikings are playing for their playoff lives. They actually outplayed Cincinnati. Lean Vikings.
I think this line's perfect. This is exactly how I would set the line. I would lean Vikings as well. Feels like a field goal game to me either way. How about the Packers? They're laying 5 at Carolina, total 36.5.
Boy, that Packer defense, just awful. That Carolina offense, awful. I will lean over, but I can't do it. I can't play a Carolina game to go over.
No, I would agree. I have nothing on this game. I guess I would lean Carolina, but I feel like they might celebrate a little bit too much after that win they just had. The Colts are in Atlanta. Totals 44. Atlanta's getting 2.5 at home, Steve. And the latest news as we're recording, the Falcons evidently going back to Taylor Heineke as the quarterback.
Ooh, I will drink a Heineken to honor the change in quarterback that makes Atlanta a better team. I'm going to tease Atlanta up to 8.5, and I'll tease them with Cleveland. With Tennessee Titans up to 8.5, 2-unit, 6-point teaser.
Yep, I'm with you on that. That's one of my teasers. I got 3 this week, other than your 10-point sweetheart deal. My 3 this week: Atlanta from 2.5 up to 8.5 against the Colts. Cleveland getting 2.5 up to 8.5 against the Texans, and the Titans from 2.5 up to 8.5 at home against the Seahawks. Grades are outstanding grader. I will wheel and deal all 3 of those for 3 separate teasers. Browns, Texans. Browns getting 2.5 on the road. Totals 42.5, Steve.
You know, I'm going to bet the Texans. I am not impressed at all with Joe Flacco. I mean, he was clutch in the fourth quarter. He was terrible. Cleveland's very good, but Houston winning with their backup quarterback. Now they still need this game like blood. I think they get it. I'll go Houston minus the 2.5 for 2 units.
Can't do it. I think it's a toss-up game. That Browns defense was awesome on Sunday. I'm just going to continue with my Browns teaser up to 8.5. The Commanders, they're getting 3 points at the Jets in a game of 2 teams I think have both been eliminated. Totals 38, Steve.
I'm certain there's a right side in this game, but I cannot identify it. I want to bet against both teams. I will pass.
It's a pass for me as well. But I will never pass on eating delicious food, especially if you're feeling good about your picks, but you're not sure what to eat. Make it easy on yourself. Order in on DoorDash. Now you can root for your pick while your food and drinks are on the way. That means burgers, chips, dips, soda, pizza, wings, so much more delivered straight to your door. Steve, you got to have something to wash it down with. For me, it's always Labatt Blue Light. It always will be Labatt Blue Light. It's delicious. I'll be crushing Labatt Blue Lights all weekend. Check me out on social media at Ross Tucker NFL. I got a special social post coming on Friday about Labatt. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. The Seahawks laying 2.5 on the road in Tennessee. Totals 42.
Yeah, Seattle's going to find a way to win, but Tennessee and teasers is good, and I already played them with Atlanta.
Yep, you and I, that's the best bet for us. Atlanta and Tennessee, both up to plus 8.5. The Jags are laying a point. The reeling Jags laying a point in Tampa in a battle of northern Florida. Totals 43.5. We don't know the status of Trevor Lawrence. He is in the concussion protocol.
Ooh, I'm going to get out my atlas after the show, and I'm going to see whether Tampa is indeed residing in northern or southern Florida. It's got to be close, right? But I will tease. When the bookmaker has the wrong team favored, I'm going to tease them every single time. Tampa playing very well with Baker and company. I need to get them up to 7.5, so I do have to use a 6.5-point teaser. So I'll play Tampa, and reluctantly, I'm going to partner them up with the unreliable, flaky Dallas Cowboys from 1.5 up to +8. So Cowboys, Tampa, teaser, 2 units.
Anything north of Orlando is northern Florida in my mind.
Now, I thought Tampa's south of Orlando, though, I thought.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, well.
I got to look up map.
A Princeton Northwestern education, and we're at an impasse.
I feel like Tampa's like due west from Jacksonville, which is like southern Georgia. Anyway, here's the deal, okay? Cowboys are getting 1.5 in Miami against the Dolphins. Total's 51.5, Steve. You already said you're teasing the Cowboys up with a 6.5-point teaser. I can't do it. I mean, I think that it'll be a close competitive game. I also think there's a chance that the Dolphins could pull away. I'm just staying away from that game. What about the Cardinals getting 4 points in Chicago against the Bears? Totals 44.5.
Yeah, the Bears are playing very well defensively, but I don't trust Fields and the offense from turning it over and the like. I just can't get there with the Bears. I am going to go ahead and pass the game.
Yeah, I would just lean to the Cardinals because I think they'll play better and they're getting more than a field goal, but it's just a lean for me. What about the Patriots getting 6.5 against the Broncos? Totals 34. It's in Denver, Steve.
So Denver might be a very important team for me because they are likely to be my survivor pick. I have a 14% share in a survivor, $9 million first prize, and we're looking towards Denver. I'd be okay with putting Denver in teasers. By the way, Tampa's way south of Jacksonville. Just looked it up. I will lean to, believe it or not, no, I won't even lean on the side, but I will look potentially. You could add some Denver teasers, even though it's a non-Wong teaser.
Yeah, I would lean to laying the points with Denver. I'm not going to do it, but that would be my lean. What about, we already talked about the Raiders, right? Raiders, Chiefs. The Raiders are getting 10. Totals 41.5. Anything else on this game, Steve? We put the Chiefs as part of our 3-team 10-point sweetheart teaser.
Let's keep an eye on the line because if you want to put them instead of in a 3-team teaser, if that line does drop to 9.5, and this does happen all the time, based on the vagaries of which way the wind's blowing, people will bet these dogs catching double digits. And if it ever drops to 9.5, then you can use KC in a 7-point 2-team teaser down to 2.5. But you cannot tease down to -3. You have to get it down to -2.5.
Giants are getting 10.5 against the Eagles Christmas Day. I'll be calling that game for Westwood One. The total is 43, Steve. Anything other than teasing the Eagles down to 0.5 point?
I'd lean to the Giants catching the 11. That seems like a little bit too high, but the Eagles are going to find a way to win after losing 3 in a row. I've seen that movie before. A decent team on a losing streak is a team you want to back to win the game.
I'll put 1 unit on the Giants, getting the 10.5 on DraftKings right now. They were not good against the Saints. I kind of feel like the Giants will be able to hang with the Eagles with the way the Eagles are playing right now. How about this game? I mean, are you kidding me? Kudos, Steve, to the schedule makers. Monday night, the Ravens at the Niners, the only 2 11-win teams in the league right now. They're both 11-3. They're both number 1 seeds right now in their respective conferences. The Ravens are getting 5.5. Steve, on a neutral site right now, how much would the Niners be favored over every team in the NFL?
So Baltimore's my number 2 team. I've got them 7 points better than average. I've got San Fran 10.25 better. So -3.25. So -3, lay $1.20 is my neutral site line. 1.5 for home field. So I get to like 4.75. So this number seems a little bit too high, but not enough to bet Baltimore. And my gut says San Fran wins. I'm going to play the over. I think happy action, fun time, 2 high-flying teams. Over 46 for 2 units. And I'm going to add one more total. I missed it. I'm going to play the Tampa Bay Jacksonville over 40. Let's see, over 43, yes, for 2 units as well.
Ooh, okay. That's interesting. Ravens, Niners over 46. I don't know if I'm with you on that one. That'll be an interesting game. Steve, let's kick some butt. Kick some butt in your Circa Millions. I will do the same. Check us out. Remember, you can get the spreadsheet, patreon.com/RTmedia, the even money betting spreadsheet, patreon.com/RTmedia. Good luck, everybody. Hope you guys win some money.
Thanks for tuning in to Even Money. Make sure to also check out the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.